Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back, your lovely faces. So, The Flash. We talked about this quite a bit in June, July, obviously May, August, everything else, or, throughout the entire year, really. And I saw the film, and it's alright. It's not exactly amazing, not one of the best superhero films of all time. Well, at the time, before it was released, James Gunn, the now head of DC Studios, he called it probably one of the greatest superhero films of all time. Well, it seems to me he's changed his mind. So, James Gunn claims cameo corn is one of the worst elements of recent superhero films. Previously praised The Flash as probably one of the greatest superhero movies ever made. And with that, it's like, yeah, he's changing his mind just because of how abysmal The Flash did. And you got that by there as well, which I thought, when I saw this in the film, I was just gutted. Same with Nicolas Cage. Same with the Adam West Batman. It's just like, what the hell are you doing, But it goes by here, though. Carries on. Another day, another flip-flop from James Gunn. This time as the DC Studios co-head now claims to view the concept of cameos as detrimental to modern-day superhero films, despite previously praising The Flash, replete with its abundance of previous DC cinematic characters and disrespectful actor revivals via CGI as one of the genre's greatest achievements. Gunn offered his latest take on the topic amidst a discussion on the Thread's social media site regarding the bevy of other super DC heroes confirmed to appear alongside Big Blue in the comic book filmmaker's upcoming Superman legacy, who are current includes The Engineer, Guy Gardner, Hawkgirl, Mr. Terrific, and Metamorpho. And after we got by here, all the people that is currently going in. And out of all of that, there's two people I'm most looking forward to. Obviously, is Nicholas Hoult as Lex Luthor. I cannot wait to see what that guy does, because he's kind of played the manic, crazy Nux in Mad Max Fury Road, which was amazing, but I don't think he's going to go that psychotic as Lex Luthor. But then you've also got my boy Nathan Fillion as Guy Gardner. I cannot wait to see Nathan in the full get-up. It's going to be great. I really do hope it's good. That's why I'm so looking forward to that. Following a confirmation from James Gunn that the above roles, as well as David Connaughton as Superman, and obviously going through all of these, were the only ones to be confirmed thus far for the upcoming Superman film, the director turned studio runner was met with a request from user Gage Music X, who asked, "No more, please. We want a Superman movie." In turn, Gunn pushed back, what single protagonist movie doesn't have more than 10 speaking roles, before confirming that there will be more. Attempting to bring clarity to the conversation, this guy then informed Gunn, "I think what they're saying is, please, no more superhero cameos setting up the new DC universe, in what you've repeatedly said is a standalone Superman movie," which is very true. And this is what James Gunn replied with, "None of these roles are cameos." So we're like, right, okay, what's going to happen? Soon after its conclusion, this exchange would receive coverage from comicbookmovie.com in the form of an article headlined, "Superman Legacy Director James Gunn defends reboots large cast and says superheroes aren't just cameos," which itself eventually drew a further response on the topic from Gunn himself. Responding to the James Gunn news, the account shared the above title, Gunn asserted, "The whole point was it's not a large film. I mean, not in terms of cast. It's normal for single protagonist movies to have other characters. Much more unusual for them not to." Well, I can see where a lot of these people are now coming. I can see why they're saying, because you want a Superman film. Have Superman, Lois Lane, Martha, have them all, Pa and all these. It's Perry, Perry what? I just go, Jimmy Olsen. There's just so many characters. Like, okay, but there's no other superheroes in them. When you look at Man of Steel, you've got Superman, you've got Zod and the bad guys. That's it. Even though you had Batman vs. Superman and with Wonder Woman, there was no other ones there. It was that sort of thing. But responding to Gunn's confirmation that Superman's legacy superpowered cast would serve as more than simple audience bait, Drizzle Boy declared, "Finally, someone who treats characters more than just having a character appear on screen for 10 seconds to mark a checkbox." And this is what James Gunn actually put there. I call that cameo corn, and it has been one of the worst elements of recent superhero films. If a character is in a film, they have to have the reason to be there story-wise, which is very true. And to be honest with you, I do actually have hope in James Gunn. His Guardians of the Galaxy trilogy is one of the most consistent films in the MCU, where each film is just great. You know, we've seen films dip off, we've seen films dip up. Iron Man, perfect example. We saw, to be honest with you, with me, the Thor films did it. They started out with a great first film. Second film was like, oh my god, what is this? Third film, great. Fourth film, like, what are you doing, mate? But out of all the films, which I think has had the most consistency, along with Guardians of the Galaxy, is the Captain America series. Captain America, First Avenger, great film. Winter Soldier, the best MCU film ever made. They're never going to top that film. Then you had Civil War, great movie. But when you see him, when someone like James Gunn comes out and says, is actually cameo spicy, you kind of have to be like, right, okay, then I'm going to put my trust in you for now. I have to see the finished product first. But obviously, with him saying that, and that's going back on his word about The Flash, because The Flash is nothing but cameo spicy, which it is. And it's sad, because again, you got Michael Keaton as Batman, which, don't get me wrong, I was so happy to see that, because Michael Keaton is my Batman. I grew up Batman 89, and that is it. And then you see, right, okay then, but then you bring in all these other things. It's like, no. You had a good thing going, but then you just ruined it with certain aspects. Going back, though, to this, elaborating on his take to a fan, this guy said, who argued that a given cameo could be enjoyable if it serves the plot, Gunn asserted, I don't mind actual cameos, if it's a glimpse or a moment, an Easter egg. What bothers me is when they mangle an elegant story by shoehorning characters in. They aren't there because the story calls for it, but for some other reason. Yes, The Flash. That part when he's running around in the Speed Force and going back and you see all these other things, that was just ridiculous. There was no need for it. Offering his final thought in this particular discussion as well, who likewise argued that the concept of cameos was not inherently detrimental in and of itself, Gunn ultimately noted, that's fine if it doesn't disrupt the story. It's the plot contrivances that develop from a cameo, not the cameo itself. And it does go on to say towards by here as well, which is actually really interesting because, again, this is what we've come to see now. As noted above, while Gunn's take in and of itself is not disagreeable, in fact, recent years have seen many fans and creators speaking out against studios' incessant need to stuff their productions with nonsensical and empty cameos in order to trick audiences into seeing their film. Cough, the Marvels. Cough. It's like, it's exactly what happens. The fact that it comes from the same man who roughly 1 year ago offered up the Scarlet Speeder's solo disaster, which literally did everything the DC studio head is now complaining about, which is what we talked about, as a pinnacle of the genre, brings into question the very reputation of the silver-haired man who uttered it. Speaking to Deadline during a January press event regarding his upcoming plans, he outright asserted that The Flash, the same film that opened with flashes of Gal Gadot and Ben Affleck's Wonder Woman and Batman, used Man of Steel's antagonist as its own, brought back Michael Keaton's Batman, used CGI to parade around the likenesses of late actors George Reeve, Christopher Reeve, Adam West, Cesar Romero for cheap member-berry points. Replaced Nick Cage's confirmed shot-on-set appearance with a digital doppelganger. Yeah, so with that part right by there, Nicolas Cage did an interview and he's like, no, I was on set, I was in the suit, I was there. And they went and changed it for a crappy CGI lookalike. Why? But then it goes on as well. Obviously, it closed out on a guest spot from George Clooney's own take on The Dark Knight is probably one of the greatest superhero movies ever made. Yeah, to be honest with you, The Flash was literally just cameo after cameo after cameo. That's exactly what it was. And to be honest with you, it kind of sucks. But, you have by there, George Reeves. There was so many great things that film could have done. But then it goes on to say, obviously, that Superman Legacy is currently set to make a landfall on July the 11th, 2025. Which, when you look at it as well, is literally just over a year and a half away. Which is crazy now because I keep thinking, oh, 2025, oh, we got ages for that. We got years. No, we got just over a year, which is absolutely just crazy. But ladies and gents, let me know what you think about this down below. Again, do you like cameos in movies? If they warrant a cameo from the story, okay, great. But if it's just in there to tick a box, it shouldn't be there. Let me know what you think about this. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, folks, and I'll see you all soon.